Your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief keeps you informed about what's happening in Annapolis, Anne Arundel County, and Maryland. Local news, local sports, local events, local opinion, and, of course, local weather. Your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief starts now.
Good morning. It's Tuesday, April 5th, 2022. This is John Frenaye, and this is your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief. Yesterday, I paid for playing hooky at the Film Fest. Man, I am so close to getting caught up, but if I owe you a phone call, an email, a tweet, or anything, hang tight. I will get to you, I promise. But it was so worth it. That film festival is an amazing event here in Annapolis. All right, enough of that. Let's get into the news, shall we? The bullets are flying again in Annapolis. The Annapolis Police are investigating a shooting in the parking lot of the 7-Eleven on Taylor Avenue in West Annapolis. It happened at 3:15 a.m. on Saturday. Police were called for a report of shots being fired, and they arrived to find the store empty and the clerk nowhere to be found. There was evidence found in the parking lot of the shooting, but so far no victim has been located. Police were able to determine that an altercation took place between the clerk and at least two customers. In Anne Arundel County, a couple of quick-thinking Anne Arundel County cops saved 4 people's lives on Friday. An officer was on patrol in the Severn Danza Park and heard a crash nearby. He discovered a van had crashed off Donaldson Avenue, went through some trees and a fence before landing in a retention pond. The vehicle was beginning to sink, and there were 2 adults and 2 very young children inside, a 9-month-old and a 3-year-old. They broke out the windows, got the kids unbuckled from their car seats and taken to safety, and then returned for the adults. No one ultimately was injured, which is really very good, but the driver was unlicensed and had warrants, so he was arrested. You want to check out the body cam footage at eyeonannapolis.net. It's about 2 minutes long, and it's pretty intense, and it's very impressive on how our cops are working. The saga of when will the elections be and who will the candidates be seems to be over. Yesterday, Governor Hogan signed off on the Democrat-controlled legislature's revised map. He said he still would have liked to see the bipartisan map, but it is better than the original. And with the signature, Attorney General Frosch said he will withdraw his appeal, and the judge who called the initial map unconstitutional is now off the hook. So I guess that is progress, I guess. Maybe. It looks like next year, parents or guardians of Anne Arundel County school students may now need to sign up to get bus transportation. Rather than provide it to all who qualify, students will now need to register. The board has asked for this, and Dr. Arlotta will deliver it to the board on Wednesday evening. I'm curious if this is going to constitute a contract between parents and the school if the school fails to provide it. I mean, let's be real. They don't have enough drivers as it is, and nothing they have done, raises, bonuses, etc., have encouraged any drivers to come work for them. And when I checked last night early, there were already 12 routes that had been canceled for today. So I'm not holding my breath on this being a good policy at all. Leadership Anne Arundel has announced 30 people who will receive new leader recognition at an April breakfast at Carroll's Creek. You can check out the names and learn more about Leadership Anne Arundel and this particular program at leadershipaa.org. I do highly recommend it. I participated last year, loved it. But I know a bunch of the people that are being honored, so congrats to Ashley Lyons from What's Up Magazine, Ward 2 Alderwoman Karma O'Neill, Joanne Matson from the STARE, Start the Adventure in Reading. She's the new executive director. Heather Skipper from the Naval Academy. Jackie Coleman, the brand spanking new executive director at Maryland Hall, who I had the pleasure of meeting up at the Annapolis Film Festival. And Diane Krogan, who is now with BWMC. Congrats to all. And finally, it is Ticket Tuesday from Ram's Head on Stage. Last week, I told you about the amazing shows they gave up. So who wants to see Felix Cavallari's Rascals on Saturday night? It is this Saturday night, the 9th. I want you to send a public tweet, not a DM, just a regular tweet out, saying that you are trying to win Rascals tickets from Eye on Annapolis and Ram's Head on Stage. And you want to tag us, Ram's Head and Eye on Annapolis. And I'm going to pick a winner a little bit later on tonight. And make sure you check out all the other great shows that are coming up at Ram's Head on Stage. And like I said, I've got a ton of them that are coming up to give away. Podcast news. And speaking of the Rascals, be sure to check out that bonus pod we dropped a little bit ago, and one coming up with Colin Blunstone from the Zombies. They'll be coming to town soon at Maryland Hall. We will have tickets for that. And we also dropped a fun one with Zachary's about their game show sale and their Mother's Day contest for 5th graders that are coming up. And I'll tell you, I always have fun with them. They are such great people, and I do love chatting with both Constance and Steve. Up this Saturday on the Local Business Spotlight, Snap Fitness, the new one in town, and next week it is the Junior League of Annapolis. Again, you want to keep those suggestions coming and keep letting your friends know about the Daily News Brief. It is so much appreciated. All right, that's it for the news, but first a quick thank you to our sponsors for today's Daily News Brief: Solar Energy Services, the Kristi Neidhardt Team of Northrop Realty, a Long & Foster company, Rehab to Perform, and Alpha Engineering. So now hang tight. Scott MacMullan is here with the legal brief, weighing in on the Oscar buzz of last week. And of course, we have George Young from DC MDVA Weather here with your locally forecast weather report. All of that coming up in just a bit.
Hello, energy consumers. This is Rick Peters, president of Solar Energy Services. Is all this talk of inflation making you uneasy? Me too, especially the uncertainty. How bad will it eat into my future purchasing power? Well, don't feel helpless, because solar energy can give you some financial control. By installing and owning your solar system, you can lock out electricity cost inflation by locking in your electricity price for more than 25 years. Many of our inflation-fighting clean energy systems offset 100% of the annual electricity demands. Customers frequently add electric vehicle charging and backup batteries to their solar projects, providing them inexpensive auto fuel and additional energy security for the home. Let's make 2022 the year that you freeze energy inflation in its tracks by committing to affordable, clean solar energy. Call us today at 410-923-6090 or visit us at solarsaves.net. But don't wait another minute. Sunshine's a wasted.
Sunshine, sunshine, nothing else can make me feel so fine.
When you live near Annapolis, you know how fickle the weather can be. So you need a truly local forecast that's accurate and reliable. Forecast right here in Annapolis. DCMDVA Weather is not just for today, but for the rest of the week and the weekend too. Now here's George Young of DCMDVA Weather with the weather outlook for today and beyond.
Hey everyone, this is George with DCMDVA Weather, and this is your Eye on Annapolis forecast for Tuesday, April 5th. Yesterday brought a fairly good start to the first work and school week in April in the Annapolis region, but rain chances kick in later today, and they go way up the next couple of days ahead of a cool early April weekend. Look for temps in the low to mid-60s for most spots in Anne Arundel County today, with a small chance for some PM rain showers, followed by a likelihood of rain showers tomorrow and Thursday, as PM highs stay in the upper 50s to mid-60s, with temps then around 60 degrees for PM highs Friday, with a lingering chance of additional rain showers before skies clear for the weekend, with breezy winds returning, as below average temps in the low to mid-50s are expected to keep it cool across the mid-Atlantic region. Okay, that's it for today. This is George Young of DCMDVA Weather. Make it a great day out there today. Stay healthy and be safe. And be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter for regular updates each day, as well as through our website at dcmdvaweather.info. And as always, be sure to download our DCMDVA Weather app on all of your devices from either the Apple or Google app stores, so you can always stay weather informed.
Another moving moment from Kristi Neidhardt of the Kristi Neidhardt Team from Northrop Realty, a Long & Foster company.
So maybe you've heard by now, the real estate market is hot. Actually, on fire might be a better term. And if you've been thinking about changing your address lately, but need to get your house market ready, here are a few simple tips to make your house shine. Clear the clutter. Basically making your house look like no one lives there when you still live there. Removing everything from kitchen and bathroom countertops is a great start. Give your house a deep clean. We're not just talking about a simple dust and vacuum. Think of this as detailing your house. Get into those hard-to-reach places, especially in the rooms buyers will focus on, like the kitchen and bathrooms, and power wash the outside walkways and decks. A fresh coat of paint can go a long way. Light gray and white trim is a safe choice. And finally, talk to us. The Kristi Neidhardt Team can help you find things you might not notice around your house that can make a huge difference in your sale price.
That's another moving moment from Kristi Neidhardt. To get in touch, call 410-295-6579 or visit kn-team.com. That's kn-team.com.
Are you an active adult or competitive athlete dealing with an injury keeping you from being at your best? Then Rehab to Perform is here to get you back to your full potential. R2P is a unique fitness-focused physical therapy company with 4 locations in Maryland. More like a training room and a personal training studio than a medical facility. R2P offers physical therapy for lower back pain, overuse injuries, post-surgery, muscle pulls, chronic pain, and more. R2P also offers rehabilitation for concussions and mild traumatic brain injuries. To learn more, visit rehabtoperform.com.
You never know when you might need an attorney. It could be when the lights light up on the police car behind you. Or maybe you have $1 million idea and need to incorporate. From wills and trusts to car wrecks and arrests, Scott MacMullan with the Annapolis-based Scott MacMullan Law, LLC, is here to offer some insight for you with today's Legal Brief.
Hello, everyone. This is Scott MacMullan, and this is your Legal Brief. I wanted to talk about the Chris Rock, Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith fiasco at the Oscars this past Sunday. And I want to talk about the legal implications. Obviously, there's a lot of moral implications, ramifications of it, but not many people are actually talking about the legal implications. If that was in Maryland, that would be an assault. I believe it's an assault in California. I'm not a California attorney, but to give you background, Chris Rock made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith, who was right there in the front row of the Oscars. Then Will Smith gets up on stage during the middle of the performance and slaps Chris Rock, physically slaps Chris Rock. Was it a bad joke? Probably. But I want to talk about the implications of doing that, whether that's in front of millions of people or with somebody right next to you with not many people watching. If it's in Maryland, that's a second-degree assault. You think it's pretty obvious, but if somebody hits somebody intentionally or reckless without their consent, that's going to be assault. There's obviously not many major injuries, but that would be a misdemeanor with potentially 10 years in jail and or a $2,500 fine here in Maryland. In California, just because, and this is what a lot of people get confused, just because Chris Rock chooses not to, quote, press charges, that doesn't mean that the prosecutors out there, assistant state's attorneys here in Maryland, couldn't bring charges if it happened in Maryland here, right? And in fact, a lot of times they still do. It's the state's case. It's the police. It's the government. It's the state's attorneys. It's the prosecutor's choice. It's their discretion on whether or not to bring criminal charges against somebody. It's not the person that was the alleged victim's choice. Whether or not the alleged victim wants to push the charges certainly comes in the mind of the prosecutor, but is not ultimately their decision to move forward with it. And we see this case a lot in the domestic assault situations where something happens, somebody's allegedly hit, and then they want to recant that later on, realizing the implications of somebody getting found guilty can have on their job and have on their career and have on their life. So if that's in Maryland, that's an assault in Maryland, and frankly, I'm really surprised that Will Smith has not been charged. And I don't know California law, but I'm surprised that Will Smith has not been charged with assault, especially in front of so many people. Very obviously, it was an assault. There's a video of it, plenty of witnesses to it. That's an open and shut case. It's an assault. In fact, and this is just a side note, I'm surprised he wasn't escorted out after that. Whether or not it was a bad joke, it was certainly in bad taste, but on a legal standpoint, it was assault, and it would certainly be an assault in Maryland. Disclaimer, the information in this podcast is intended for information purposes only. Listening to this podcast does not create an attorney-client relationship. The information in this brief is prepared for a general audience. It is not nor intended to be legal advice. If you seek legal advice, we invite you to call Scott MacMullan Law, LLC at 443-494-9775. Our office is located in downtown Annapolis with parking available upon request.
The benefits of a good night's sleep are well documented. Sleeping well prevents weight gain, improves concentration and creativity, and boosts the immune system. So, what keeps you up at night? If you run a business, then the security of your computer network may be one of those things. Threats like ransomware and phishing are becoming increasingly sophisticated and pose a real risk to any business. Don't let these cyber threats keep you up at night. At Alpha, they've been helping their customers sleep better for over 30 years by monitoring in real time and hardening network defenses. And for those irritating IT issues that arise every day, Alpha's just a phone call away, helping your business run smoothly and helping you sleep better knowing Alpha is on guard. Give Alpha a call to see if they can ease your worries and help you get the rest you deserve. Find them at alphagetsit.com.
You've been listening to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Tell your friends and colleagues, this is the podcast where you can keep up on the latest with what's going on in Annapolis and Anne Arundel County. And don't forget about our website, eyeonannapolis.net, where you can find even more information. And make sure you follow us on Facebook at All Annapolis and on Twitter at Eye on Annapolis. This Daily News Brief podcast comes to you every Monday through Friday at 6 a.m.